Alrighty, welcome back to another video for the best perk picks. Today we're going to be doing scouting. So there it is. Here are the best perk picks. Now you can, just quickly take a screenshot and just get off the video if you want. But now we're going to go over why I chose each one, why I think some are a 50-50 choice, and all that in between, and just give you an explanation. Like always, play this down below for all the other videos that I've done. I've done all of these. All of these are up to date with the newest patch. These 9 right over here. One-handed to smithing. And I'm pretty much halfway through to getting everything done. And these are kind of the more interesting perks anyways. Or interesting perk choices anyways. So there's a lot more to come. Go check it down in the link down below, okay? Now, let's get it. So scouting, what happens with scouting? So when you increase your scouting skill, right? So this will increase your track detection radius, your max track difficulty that can be detected, spotting distance, and your track information level. What does all this mean? So in the world, as you can see, every single party, if you kind of like follow behind them, let's go behind this caravan actually. It's a little bit bigger of a party, right? They leave a track behind. You see these little arrows right here on the map? It's considered kind of like a track, right? And it tells you a lot of information. And it's very useful late game, especially when you're trying to find an army, a large party, or if you're trying to avoid an army. This track does help you a lot. And the higher level is, the higher track detections. You can see, like, I see the guy, but I see his tracks from all the way back here. And I see tracks all the way back here as well. And also all the way back here. You see how far this is? That's what it means. So the higher this is, the better information you're going to get. The farther you're going to be able to see it, and all of that in between. Okay? All right, let's get back to it. And by the way, the reason all these things right here are 300, just letting you know, this is because of cheats. I did this because, I want to display the perk selections. In a normal game, your main character is really only going to be able to do, like, to reach 300, a couple, if you're really trying your hardest, will reach 300. You know what I mean? That's usually how it goes in a campaign. All right. So let's do it. So first we have is Day Traveler versus Night Runner. Now, before we start, we got to do this again. You see how it says scout in the quotation marks? This has to do, if we go into your clan screen right over here and go into any party, this has to do with your party roles right over here. As you can see, if you're wondering what are party roles, first link down below in the description, I describe it. But just a quick explanation. Whoever you pick here, those are the perks that are going to be used in the party. They could either be your companion or they could be your main guy. If nobody's selected, it goes from your main guy's perks. Okay? Now, if you want a bigger explanation of that, down below in the description. All right? Let's get it. So, first we have is Day Traveler versus Night Runner. All right? So, Day Traveler is plus 2% travel speed during daytime and plus 10% sight range during daytime in campaign map. Sight range is just how far you can see pretty much parties and the tracks. Versus Night Runner, which is 5% travel speed during nighttime and 30% sight range during nighttime in campaign map. Okay. Now, you might be wondering why I chose Day Traveler, even though it looks like Night Runner has a lot better in terms of numbers. The nighttime in this game is a lot lower. I think it's like 1/3 of the time, or it might be even less than that. Don't quote me on that, but it's about 1/3 of the time, I would say, of the daytime. So there's a lot more daytime than nighttime in the game. So it makes sense. Most of the time you're going to spend is in the daytime. So I think it's a little bit better. Well, not a little bit better. It's proven to be better. You know what I mean? In the long run. That's why I chose Day Traveler. Next, it is Pathfinder versus Water Diviner. So Pathfinder plus 2% travel speed on steppes and plains. And then as a party leader perk, plus 50% daily chance to increase relations with notable by 1 when you enter a town. Versus Water Diviner, which is 10% sight range while traveling on steppes and plains. And then 50% chance pretty much to get increased relations with a notable by 1 when you enter a village. Okay, so it's pretty much town versus village in terms of your notable relations. And then we have either speed or sight range. I'm going to be honest with you, planes are like these right over here. You know what I mean? These are planes technically, and there's a lot more planes on. My map's all messed up. Where is it? There we go. There's a lot more planes on this side of the map right here with the Khazaits. As you can see, it's mostly all planes. Now, in those situations, usually where there's a lot of planes, there's a lot of, what do you call it, cavalry, and a lot of parties that have cavalry as well. And I'll be honest with you, you want the speed over the sight range. It's just as simple as that. You want to get away from bigger parties faster, and you also want to catch up with parties faster if you want to attack them. You know what I mean? So it just, I think speed over just, you know, seeing a little bit extra, 10%. If this was maybe like, and I guess they can't make it too high also because there's other effects here as well. I just think its speed is a lot better, in my opinion. Way a lot better. Unfortunately, the village is better in terms of increasing your relationship with notables. So it could almost change it, the dynamic, but it's only a 50% chance. And again, if you didn't know, your relations with the notable only has to do with your recruitment in villages and in towns. As you can see, whenever you recruit troops, what's it called? The higher your relationship is, the more these slots get opened up. And usually the best troops are in villages. So that's why you could make a justification for getting Water Diviner, but I still choose Pathfinder because the travel speed, it's a lot better. Next, you have is Desert-born versus Forest Kin. Desert-born plus 5% travel speed on deserts and dunes. And then it's the Governor perk. Right now, we're going to just cut it out right now. Governor perk is only useful for your companions and your family members because you, the main character, cannot become a governor. I'm going to make a video of the best governor perks once I'm done with all of these perk selection videos, okay? So that's on the way. We're going to get that squared away. So don't worry about the governor thing when it comes to your main character, okay? So I'm just going to pretty much skip it. So Desert-born is 5% travel speed on desert and dunes. And versus minus 50% travel speed penalty from forest if your party is composed of 75% or more infantry units. Okay, I'll be honest with you. This would be a great perk, the minus 50% travel speed penalty, only if it didn't have the stipulation of having 75% infantry units. Because if your party is composed of 75% infantry units, you're already slower than most other composition of units, or most other composition of armies that have, let's say, for example, at least 30 to 35% cavalry/cavalry archers. Because the more cavalry you have, the faster your party is on the campaign map. So the 50% travel speed penalty, minus travel speed penalty, which is like pretty much the penalty you get whenever you travel in forests. Let me see if I could just capture it. I need to go to an actual forest. Let me go to right over here. I think it's captured right there. Yeah, as you can see, forest minus 1.32. It's the fourth one up. So that's the penalty you have whenever you're in forest, because obviously stuff is blocking your way. And if my party had more than 75, what do you call it? More than 75% of infantry units, then it would be worth it. But that's like a weird thing to kind of keep up, especially, during end game when you're fighting a lot of armies, lots of stuff. It's not worth it with the stipulation. You're not going to remember the stipulation throughout the whole entire game unless you make like a notepad of it. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, just the 5% travel speed on desert and dunes just makes sense. Obviously, desert and dunes are really just at the bottom right over here. But eventually, in your campaign, you're gonna visit these areas. So 5% is pretty good. You know what I mean? Why not? Next, so that's why I chose obviously Desert-born. Next, it was Forced March versus Unburdened. So Forced March is plus 2%, plus 2.5% travel speed when party morale is higher than 75. And then party leader perk, it's plus 2 experience per day to all troops while traveling with party morale higher than 75. Versus Unburdened, which is minus 20% Burdened penalty, that's when you're like overweight or you're over capacity. You know what I mean? Every game has a different name for it. And then +2 experience per day to all troops when traveling while overburdened. I'll be honest with you, this is an easy choice. Forced march, it's very easy. I know it has a stipulation to it. We just talked about how this other stipulation is bad. This stipulation, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna reach it. If you're successful, if your fights are successful, if you keep a lot of different food, for example, I'm not keeping a lot of food currently. There's like also different perks and different skills that give you morale boosts as well. So during close like mid to end game, you're going to typically have a very high party morale. Okay, so it's like kind of like a given. It's gonna happen more often than not. You don't have to pay attention to it really, because you're pretty much paying attention to playing your best in the game. So therefore, you know what I mean. You're gonna reach this point, and this is gonna activate for you. But this right here, you have to literally penalize yourself to get the benefit. But it's only a half benefit. So if you think about it, the -20% overburn penalty, you're still getting the penalty. So you still have to go overweight to get the penalty. And then on top of that, your only bonus is the 2% experience per day of all troops while traveling. When traveling. So you have to be traveling, right? It's not like you could be waiting in a town and just overburning. You have to also be traveling. And I have to understand, when you're overburdened, you're also slower, because there's a speed penalty to that. So it's just like, this is a terrible... I'll be honest with you. This is like a terrible... Like, you'd have to be like +5% experience or something like that. Like, give me something nice in terms of numbers, because I'm going to be honest with you, it's not worth it at all. And that's why I chose Forced March. Next up is Ranger versus Tracker. So Ranger +20% track spotting distance and 10% track detection chance versus 20% track visibility duration and +2% travel speed while following a hostile party. Again, this is a very easy choice. While it might not seem like it, here's why. The detection of the track is cool. So spotting distance and track detection chance. Okay, so what does that mean? Your spotting distance is how far you can spot the track. Let's we gotta find a party here. I should go this way. Let me just find a party with some tracks so we could Okay. So we got tracks right over here, right? So, just go right back to it. So, spotting distance and detection chance. All right, so spotting distance is obviously just the distance, right? Obviously, it's going to increase your distance of when you can spot these. And then the chance is obviously sometimes you might not spot it. You know what I mean? There's a small % chance that a track might get lost. You know what I mean? Or, there might be a skip in the tracks. That does happen. So, obviously, it increases your chance of finding the track and also how far you can see it. But I think Tracker is better because 20% track visibility duration. What that means is this track right over here, if we wait, let's say we wait for a little bit, it goes away. It's going to eventually go away. See, as you can see, and it's going to stay because we obviously have a lot of perks that increase it. But eventually this will go away. I don't even know how long it actually stays, to be honest with you. But it also might actually be staying because since they're in the village right there, you know what I mean? It's technically, they're still close. Well, let's see how long it stays actually. 19 hours. Okay, see, it was about 20 hours that it stayed, right? And if we didn't have that, it would be 20% less. There we go. But more importantly, the best part of this is the 2% travel speed when following a hostile party. This is huge. Huge. Why? Because if you were traveling the same speed as a party, you guys are like neck and neck in terms of catching the party. And the only time they slow down is like when they hit like a forest and you could kind of maneuver around it. Having that 2% extra travel speed will have you catching a lot of parties that are what's it called? Much smaller than you. So you can really catch out enemies. And because like the whole point of it is the more you have in your party, the slower you're supposed to be, right? So if, for example, if you have like 300 people in your party, you're going to be traveling a lot slower than if you had, for example, 15 people. So for example, the 15 is supposed to always get away from the 300. I'm not saying with this perk now the 15 is not going to get away, but I'm saying more example, a party that maybe has like 150 units. We're talking about same compositions here, right? 150 units compared to 300 units, maybe you don't catch them. But with this, maybe you do catch them. I'm just saying. The travel speed. If we keep getting travel speed and all these different examples right here, let's say, for example, we hit the steps and plains, plus we hit this right behind a hostile party, that's 4%. We're almost at 5, baby. I'm just saying. All right? That's why I picked Tracker. Next, we have is Mounted Scouts versus... Let me crack open a cold one real quick. It's not beer. It's an energy drink. I don't drink beer. All right. Moving on. Mounted Scouts versus Patrols. So Mounted Scouts is plus 10% sight range when your party is composed of more than 50% cavalry troops, and also plus 5 party size limit. You already know why I chose it if you watched my previous videos. And then Patrols is plus 5 battle morale against bandit parties and plus 10% advantage against bandits when troops are sent to confront the enemy. All right, it's an easy choice. Mounted Scouts, it's a party size increaser. You want more party size. Listen, I have a video out there, again, link down below. It's one of those videos that a lot of people did enjoy. Very high acclaim for it. It's how to get 500 plus party size, okay? You can do it in the game. Like, without cheats, without anything, you can do it in the game. I show you exactly how to do it. All the bonuses from the perks, from the different policies in the game. Like, I show you exactly how to construct it. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. I do appreciate it, okay? But, yeah, it's a simple choice. Always pick party size. Always. 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 I always say that. You know what I mean? The other stuff, whatever. I don't even care about the sight range. It's whatever, okay? The 5 party size limit, great. And then obviously Patrols. This will be great as like a level 75 skill, by the way. It's out of place. Level 150, I don't care about my battle morale when it comes to bandit parties or my advantage against bandit parties. At level 150, we're moving on. I'm a clan fighting, as a mercenary in some army. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. What's it called? Scouting 150. But obviously some people take it, the game a little bit slower. But I don't think this is a good skill to take. And obviously after 150, the chances even get slimmer and slimmer that you're really going to be, thinking about the benefits of going after bandit parties over, actual different clans and stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. And that's why I picked Mounted Scouts. Next, Beast Whisperer versus Foragers. Hold on, I've been edging this drink. I've just been holding it in my hand as I've been talking. Let me just drink this real quick. Ooh, that first hit is crazy. All right, Beast Whisperer versus Foragers. So we have Scout, which is plus 5% chance to find a mount when traveling through steppes and plains. Pretty cool. One of those like little gimmies. We've gone over a couple of them in the past. And then as a party perk, plus 10% carrying capacity for pack animals in your party. That one's pretty cool. It works. And then we have Foragers, which is minus 10% food consumption while traveling through steppes in forests. And also minus 15% disorganized state duration. What is disorganized state duration? That is pretty much after you do anything. After you finish a fight, finish a siege, finish a lot of other stuff. Your party is going to be in a disorganized state. It's just going to make it slower. It lasts barely any time. You know what I mean? But for example, if you're in a fight and you get out of a fight, all of a sudden another party can swoop in, even if you are technically faster than that party. Since you're in that disorganized state, you are slowed down for the moment. So, this pretty much helps, what's it called? Get you out of that moment a lot quicker. And that's pretty much literally why I chose it. The minus food consumption is pretty cool. But I'll be honest with you, finding a mount, again, level 175 scouting. If you're trying to like find a mount for the profit of it, there's so much more profitable things you can be doing with your time. And then like, you have to specifically travel through steppes and plains, which you don't have to specifically travel. But again, it's that stipulation. If it was maybe 5% chance to find a mount whenever you're traveling, let's say for example, through steppes, plains, forests, and pretty much like, for example, if they're like, yeah, steppes, lanes, forest, and mountainous regions. So it pretty much covers like this whole portion of the map. You know what I mean? Because I already know there's bonuses to the top part of the map with the snow in terms of speed. There's bonuses for the deserts, so we're not going to include those. But like this whole chunk right here in the middle, then we could be talking about something. But where it stands right now, it's not worth it. Just like like I said, like all the other gimmicks, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? All the other ones I really didn't choose them as well. I think apart from maybe like one, if I'm not mistaken, but most of them never really get chosen. Because while they're cool, and again the 10% carrying capacity is cool too, but overall the disorganized state, we're getting into high levels, level 175 scouting. You're going to be engaging a lot. You know what I mean? You're going to be fighting a lot. You know what I mean? You're going to have to be quick on your toes. You're going to have to get out of a fight, and then maybe you're going to have to dodge an army, dodge another fight. What if you're raiding? You know what I mean? Once you complete a raid, you're in a disorganized state. What if all of a sudden an army not an army, a couple parties come out of nowhere? You got 100 troops. You got 3 parties that have 100 plus troops. All of a sudden, you're slower. What if that 15% chance is the 15%? The not 15% chance, the 15% minus duration. What if that's just the exact thing that you needed? Think about it. Think about it. I'm just saying it's a lot better than maybe getting a horse. I'm just saying. All right, next we got this Rumor Network versus Village Network. So Rumor Network, minus 50% trade penalty within cities of your own kingdom. And then as a scouting perk, plus 30% hideout detection range. All right. Versus minus 10% trade penalty with villages of your own culture. I'm going to be honest with you. And then obviously the governor perk, so it's only really +1. Village Network is so trash. I'm going to just say it. I get it as, okay, I'm not going to say it's trash because, like, obviously if you want a good governor, you're going to get this perk, right? But if we're talking about in terms of main character, if you pick Village Network ever, brother, you are playing against yourself. Okay, when you're going to buy a lot of stuff, for example, a lot of food, a lot of materials, all that stuff, right? You're trying to do a little trading. You're not going to villages. They got barely anything. You go to the towns, the cities. And that's where, you know what I mean? You want the minus 5% trade penalty. That's where you want it. You want to pay less there so you can go trade those items or get a boatload of food. You go to these villages, you're getting 10% off nothing. I guess it's a little bit shinier than nothing, but it's barely, like I'm telling you, man, this and this being at 200, holy. I'm going to have to make a video about the worst perks selections. Oh my god, that's actually a great video. Oh, let me write that down. Worst perk selections. Oh my god. Yeah. This right here, this is a contender top 3. I'll be honest with you. All right, but jokes aside, again, the minus 5% trade penalty within cities, obviously of your own kingdom. So again, it's not even that good. It's really, and then plus the 30% hideout detection range. Again, it's like, like this also is. I'll be honest with you, this is top 3. This might be top 10. You know what I mean? It's very restrictive. How can I say this? It is very small as well. Minus 5% trade penalty. You're not even feeling that. You know what I mean? You're not feeling that. You know. But again, it's the better choice between these two. This is just dog water. And they have to be of your own culture too. It's just like, duh. Rumor Network is the choice. Is it a good perk? But in itself, no, it sucks. But it's the better choice. Okay. Next, we have Keen Sight versus Vantage. And by the way, why the 30% hideout detection range is dog water? Because it's like dog, like, it's not like this map is like, what's that Obsidian game or Bethesda game, whoever made it, Daggerfall, was like where like the map is ever changing. Like, I'll be honest with you, if you play for long enough, you kind of know where the bandits spawn, and it's very simple. If you start seeing a lot of bandit parties running around, there's a hideout nearby, and then you just gotta like walk around a little bit. With this perk, you're gonna technically see it faster because you're gonna have a bigger detection range, but it's like, and not like I know you get scouting experience whenever you do detect a hideout, if I'm not mistaken. But level 200, this is what you got. All right, let me get off this. But yeah. All right, Keen Sight versus Vantage Point. So Keen Sight minus 50% sight penalty for traveling in forests, and then minus 50% chance for prisoner lords escaping from your party. Okay, versus plus 25% sight range when stationary for at least an hour, and then plus 10 prisoner limit. All right. So maybe wondering, why didn't you choose the prisoner limit? You always say party size. Yes, I say party size. I don't say prisoner limits. Very simple. Prisoners do slow you down. I don't ever really like to fill up my prisoners. Well, I'm lying. I do. But really, really late game, I'm not carrying a whole bunch of prisoners. Really, really late game, because this is level 25. Really late game, I'm running around with like 300 to 500 units in my party, you know? And that already gives me, take half of that, right? Let's say I have 500. That means I have 250 spaces for prisoners. And obviously, there's other perks here that probably give you that as well. Prisoner limits. So, and I might have picked some of them. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember them, but there might be more as we go further. In my opinion, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you would have hit me with like a plus 30, probably still would say no. But the 25% sight range when stationary for at least an hour. It's an hour of in-game time, which is very fast. It goes by very fast. But at the same time, and I'll show you how fast it goes. We go by the tracks again. Where is it? Okay, so you see the tracks, right? So that's 2 hours, right? Hold on. Now it's 3 hours. Okay? Very simple. There was a lot of pauses in between there, but like it goes by very, very quick. Okay? Yet I still don't think it's worth it. 25% chance. I think the minus 50% sight penalty for traveling in forest is very good, because whenever you are in forest, you can't really see how far a party is from you, and you can get caught out very quickly in a lot of deep forests. This does help you see further in forests, and make better decisions in terms of which way you're going. And also the minus 50% chance of prisoner lords escaping from your party. Again, the perk makes sense for the timing. Level 225, you're participating in armies. If you fight against different lords, if your end goal is to take over their land, imprisoning them and keeping them in your party for as long as possible until they eventually escape is a good tactic to do, and therefore this does increase that effectiveness. So overall, Keen Sight is the better choice. Next up is Rearguard versus Vanguard. So Rearguard, plus 20% wounded troop recovery speed while in an army, and plus 10% damage by your troops when defending at your siege camp. Okay? Versus plus 5% damage by your troops when they are sent as attackers, and plus 10% damage by your troops when they are sent to sally out. Now, the reason I chose Rearguard, even though I typically am usually the attacker or the person to go sally out, I'm the more aggressive player. So these are the better. These are two very good perks. Don't get it wrong. I chose this because the 20% wounded, 20% chance wounded troop recovery speed while in an army is very good. Armies tend to get into huge fights. There's a lot of wounded all the time. If you can heal up faster, you can get back in the fight faster. Okay, 20%, nothing to laugh at. Again, a late game perk that makes sense. This is when you're going to be in big armies that have a lot of wounded troops. And then a 10%, holy, I can't read, damage by your troops when defending at your siege camp is very particular. It's cool, whatever. I think the 20% troop recovery speed is really good. Really good. It beats out the extra damage whenever you are the attacker. If you would have hit me with the plus 10 for both, I might have picked Vanguard, though. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very close. And obviously the last one is Uncanny Insight. It's the only choice. Plus 0.1, what's it called? Percent party speed for every skill above 200. You get this at 275. So right off the bat, you get what? 0.75%. Almost 1%. Pretty cool. Wait, no, I'm lying. Hold on. I'm stupid. 0.1%. Oh, okay. So it's you get plus. So whenever you do hit this skill, you get plus 7.5% party speed. Very cool. All right, those are the picks. I'll see you in the next one.